We all know that if we want to learn a language, we have to stay consistent. It's really easy to wake up in the morning and say, okay, I'm going to learn a language every single day. I'm going to stay consistent because I am truly committed and I really, really want to prove to myself that I can learn a language every single day. But it never works. Do you want to know why this doesn't work? Problem is, we get so obsessed over consistency that we forget about the actual language. This is a really important thing that I don't see anybody else talking about. So in this video, let's talk about why you need to stop obsessing over consistency and what you should be paying attention to instead. Consistency, in and of itself, is a positive thing. Technically, yes, in order to learn language successfully, you need to stay consistent. But what does that actually mean? What does consistent actually mean? Well, the voices on the internet, the voices that glamorize language learning, they say that consistency means every single day. And if it's not every single day, it's, whatever you committed to, black and white. Like, let's say you tell yourself that you're going to study 4 times a week, every single week, but then you miss a day. And so the whole world comes crumbling down, right? The rules of consistency, as explained to us by, the internet, the world, is every single day or whatever you committed to, no excuses. If you can't do that, if you have excuses pop up, then there's something wrong with you as a person. You are lazy, you're not good enough, you don't deserve it. Especially because you go on the internet and you see all of these people online talking about how they spend hours and hours and hours learning a language. And in fact, you need to spend hours every single day learning a language, and there's no point in even trying if you can't commit yourself and find a way to find several hours every single day to learn a language, right? So if you are a normal human being with normal responsibilities and a normal life, you are left feeling really guilty and full of shame and anxious, and you want to learn a language, but the expectations are just unreasonable and you are setting yourself up to fail. Fact of the matter is that focusing on just consistency is missing the point. And you know this if you have used Duolingo to stay consistent and maintain your streak every day, and you have a really great streak and you feel good about the streak, but you don't actually feel good about what you've been doing to achieve that streak. You open the app every day and you go through whatever lesson Duolingo gives you, but it's the same repetitive pattern every single day. You're not learning more, and there's no difference in your conversational ability or any other way that you measure progress from day 5 to day 500. Your abilities in your language are exactly the same, but you're staying consistent. Right? You have an official number in the Duolingo app telling you that you've been consistent for however many days So yeah, you're consistent, but are you actually learning the language? Suffice to say that consistency is important, yes, but it's not the end-all be-all. It also isn't nearly as concrete as the world would have you believe. Consistency for the sake of being consistent is not the answer to successful language learning. The real answer is a decent strategy. What does that mean? In my opinion, the 2 things that make a successful language learning strategy is logically getting you closer to your goal, whatever that goal may be, and you actually enjoy it and you want to do it regularly. Now in this case, I say regularly. Regularly and consistently are they're 2 sides of the same coin. I want to make it clear that when I say regularly or consistently or whatever kind of word I use, this doesn't necessarily mean every single day. It just means whatever is regular for you. If that's only a couple times a week, cool, that's consistent, that's regular. And that is something that you should be proud of, whatever works for your life, not what works for some stranger on the internet. Let me give you an example of this shift from being obsessed with consistency to being focused more on the strategy and how it's giving you the progress that you're looking for in a way that makes you happy. A client once who was learning Russian on Duolingo, and she had an insane streak on Duolingo, but that was literally the only good part of her language learning strategy because Duolingo gave her so much anxiety. She was so terrified of losing that streak, but also she knew that her Russian was getting 0% better day after day. That streak actually meant nothing when she really thought about it. She had it in her mind that in order to be successful with her Russian, she had to stay consistent, and so the Duolingo streak was proof that she was consistent, but that meant absolutely nothing for her Russian. Eventually, she allowed herself to let go of that Duolingo streak And she shifted her strategy so that she wasn't using Duolingo at all, because it turns out she hated using Duolingo. And she started focusing more on things that were actually beneficial to her language learning, because they were building up the skills that she wanted and because she actually liked doing it. So in this particular example, she wanted to read books in Russian. Duolingo obviously was not helping her with that at all. So when she instead focused on resources and strategies that actually logically got her closer to her goal of reading Russian books, it made her feel good about learning a language because she could see herself making that progress. She wasn't obsessing over that number getting bigger and bigger and bigger every day. She was more concerned about whether her ability to read Russian was getting better over time. Like the time that she was spending, the energy that she was spending with her Russian was actually giving her results. And that in itself gave her the motivation to keep going forward. With the right strategy, you stay consistent without even trying because you want to, and it's easy and it's fun, and you're not worried about missing a day because that's really not what's important. So that said, I want you to take this concept and apply this to your own language learning and give yourself a minute to think about it and process. Is your language learning stressful? Is it something that's really boring and you feel really just obligated to keep your streak going, keep your consistency going, whatever that looks like? Is it not actually, are you not actually making progress? Are you bored, overwhelmed, stressed out? Is language learning just kind of like a behemoth of vague negativity and you feel really stressed, guilty, disappointed in yourself, anxious, all of those things? If that's the case, then all of these emotions are telling you something. And what they're telling you is that what you are doing to achieve your language learning goals is not working, and it's not because there's something wrong with you, it's something wrong with your strategy. Fortunately for you, that is easily fixed. Don't worry about the consistency aspect. That will come, okay? If you have all the other correct pieces in place, then consistency will absolutely come, and it will come naturally, and you'll feel good about it. So for example, if you're using Duolingo to learn Spanish and you are keeping that streak up, and at 11:50 p.m. every single day you're opening up Duolingo and you're going through a lesson, and congratulations, you are consistent, you have a streak, but you know that your Spanish isn't actually getting better. I tell you for a fact that Duolingo itself is not going to help you have Spanish conversations, at all. So drop Duolingo, just full out drop it if it's not helping you. That might be scary at first, but I promise you that if you can find the confidence to do that, then you're gonna feel a lot lighter. Instead, you need to be focusing on strategies that you can use to actually have conversations. And this can be really, really simple. Literally just talking to yourself in Spanish. Introducing yourself in Spanish. Hola, me llamo is Jamie, whatever your name is. Just that simple stuff, getting used to saying those words, saying any words, expressing yourself, talking to yourself, talking about what's in the room around you. It doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't even need another app to do it. What's important is focusing more on whether or not your strategy is more logically getting you closer to your goals. And fortunately for you, I made this much, much easier with my language app search, totally free. So if you're not familiar with my free language app search, links below in the description. All you gotta do is go to the little search bar up top of the language app search, plug in your information, and it'll provide you with a bunch of different options that are available for your particular goals. Now, once you've used the form at the top to get you started, you can open up all of the blog posts, because all of those little pictures of the language apps that are available that teach your language at your level to attain your goal, they're all blog post reviews. So you can open up each of these blog posts and you can read about the apps. They all also have screenshots or videos of using the app. So if you want to get a feel for the app or the course or whatever it is, make it stupid easy, honestly, to get a feel for any individual resource. And I tell you, at the end of each blog post, what kind of language learner any type of app or course is for. And if it's not for you, suggestions for apps like that one that might be a better fit for you. Because my goal is to help you stop focusing on things that don't matter and instead focus on things that do matter, like your goals. Plain and simple. What level you're at, what language you're learning, and what your goals are for your language. Because I don't want you obsessing over streaks or consistency or perfection or any of the other parts of language learning that people on the internet tell you are important that are not nearly as important as what you're going to do to learn a language. Regardless of what what everybody else in the world is doing to learn a language, I want you to focus on what you're doing to learn a language for your goals. Because once you do that, consistency will follow completely naturally and easily for you. So that said, stop trying to stay consistent in your language learning. If you can't stay consistent, it's not because there's something wrong with you or you're doing something wrong, it's because the strategy needs to change. Your consistency not functioning is the result of your strategy not being the right one for you. It's not because there's something wrong with you. It's not because you are, for some reason, never going to be able to stay consistent. It is a sign that your strategy needs to change. And understanding how your strategy needs to change is all the information that you need to go to my free language app search, plug in the information, and make educated decisions like that and not just impulsive resource hopping. Because jumping from app to app to app, course to course to course is just going to leave you more stressed, more anxious, and with a lot less opportunity to learn a language because you're spending all your time second guessing yourself. I promise you that learning a language is possible for you, and it can be something that you enjoy doing day to day. It can be a positive part of your life that eventually gets you to the goal that you're trying to get to. And the first step to getting past all of this anxiety that you're feeling right now is my free language app search. So go to the link below in the description, give it a shot, and start on your journey to whatever your goals are in your language learning. And of course, remember to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video all about how to learn languages for you every Wednesday. Bye.